Howard,
Here.
Robert,
Here.
and Mark is not here, our treasurer. I'm going to take it slightly out of order, if I may. The first item of business is the approval of a proposal from Sexton Engineering to prepare an existing conditions plan of the front entrance. As one of the requirements with our contract with Botanical Visions is that there's certain work that we as the HOA will be responsible for, one of which is furnishing an existing conditions plan, survey, and a plan that they can use to do the design work for the front entrance. So we do have a proposal from Sexton Engineering, and I'll make the motion, move to approve the proposal from Sexton Engineering Associates dated 3/6/2024 to perform a limited topographic survey and sketch of the front entrance, compilation of property plans on the record, and preparation of an existing conditions plan to be used for design of walls at the front entrance in the amount of $3,000 to be paid from operating and charge to expense line number 7372, front entrance renovation project. Any discussion from the board? Any from the audience on this? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of the board, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we're on to the main item.
Doc, you want to do approval of minutes if you care? Well,
I didn't see it on the agenda,
it's
so,
not on the agenda? Oh,
no.
it is. Okay.
So,
We doubled up with it on the, after work, we
Okay.
focused on it.
we'll load up our agenda at the next one for the minutes then. Main topic tonight is the presentation of the plans for the expansion of the pickleball. After we have that, we're going to adjourn into executive session for another topic. So the only item is the pickleball. Once again, I ask you to silence your phones. And although we were expecting thousands at this, probably the main use of the videotape will be to distribute it to the residents in 3 or 4 days so that all of our residents can be educated into the pickleball project. So please hold your questions until the end, and we'll have anyone who wishes to make a presentation or questions and answers, please do so. The board is pleased to make this presentation to the community regarding 2 additional pickleball courts. This meeting is being recorded, and along with the exhibits, questions, and discussions will shortly be available on our website for our residents to review. Since this project will involve a capital expenditure of more than $50,000, approval will be needed by at least 55% of the homeowners voting in person or by proxy. It is anticipated that the ballots will be issued around March 22nd, and the members' meeting where we will be counting the votes will be held on or about April 8th. Should the expenditure be approved, at the next board meeting, a special assessment with a payment schedule will be set by the board to fund the project. In the meantime, should you have any questions or need further information, please contact the management office or any board member. Let me preface this presentation by saying that although there are many tennis and pickleball players, as well as other residents that enjoy watching, and others that will support this enhancement of activities, we recognize that there are those of you who are undecided. We hope that after listening to this presentation, you understand the background of this project, that it is well planned, and feel it is a wise investment in the future of the community and worthy of your support. Some, or maybe all of you, will feel we are going into excruciating and excessive detail, but we want you to understand the background and rationale that will enable you to make this informed decision. Little did we know that when the Facilities and Community Enhancement Committee, otherwise known as the FACE Committee, suggested in 2015 that we consider adding pickleball to our activities, it would grow into the popular sport it is today. Photo 1. This is where we have our existing courts. For those of you who are around, this was what it looked like before we started construction. Shortly thereafter, we started clearing for the 2 courts, and then laying the asphalt. And then we had our grand opening. Oops, this is it. I was wishful thinking there. How many of you were at the grand opening? A few of you. It was a lot of fun, and it was the beginning of a very successful sport and activity in Tivoli Lakes. Almost since the courts opened in September of 2018, the demand during peak morning hours exceeded the capacity of the 2 courts, and it is only increasing in popularity with people now playing throughout the day, the community ladder competitions, clinics, league play, and residents coming out with family and guests. It is not unusual to have the courts full and 10 to 15 to 20 people waiting to get on. Our pickleball committee and pickleball club quickly adopted the idea of at least 2 additional courts and approached the board for support. Almost 6 years after the grand opening, after much discussion, research, and correspondence, the optimal location for the 2 additional courts was determined to be adjacent to the existing courts. The frequent rotation of players, social interaction, and cheering inherent in the game of pickleball dictates that all 4 courts be proximate and somewhat isolated from other activities. Now, Exhibit 6. This is the original sketch plan that we did that shows how we geometrically placed the 2 courts we have today. And you notice that it was somewhat sandwiched in by these underground easements, one carrying recycled water. We believe it's a 12-inch line, and the other being the main electric feed that comes in down to Lakes Boulevard and serves the community. So, using this as a basis, we came up with the location of the 2nd court. Unfortunately, in conversation with Palm Beach County and Florida Power and Electric, it was deemed infeasible to place the courts on top of these existing easements. They would not let it happen, and if we ever did, we would have to relocate those 2 utilities, which would be prohibitively expensive. So what we did is we shifted the court, as you can see, which will move into the parking lot somewhat in that first aisle. This will result in the loss of 11 parking spaces out of the 88, but still leaves us 19 spaces in excess of the minimum zoning requirement, which is 88. We prepared 3 parking plans. The first being the existing. This is the existing parking layout from the original design. And you can see that by doing so, it encompasses the first row of parking and will require the moving of one of the ends of the parking aisle. Go to the next one. No, one before, I'm sorry. Yep, no, one after that. That's fine. Yep, and because of this alteration to the parking, the next one down, Robert. We applied to the Palm Beach County zoning and planning for an amendment to our original approval and to allow this alteration to the parking lot. And they did issue this amended master plan, and then the next one. And then a 2 or 3 page approval letter outlining the specific changes that they allow in for us by the alteration of the parking lot. Recently, during a clubhouse event and pickleball match, there were still more than 11 available parking spaces. And all of you I know have expressed the concern what happens when the lot is full. We still have a parking lot of 49 parking spaces for tennis and the fitness center that is still available. On rare occasions in the past, we have used that lot for big events here at the clubhouse. So it's not ruled out, but we don't think it's going to happen very often. This plan will also require the removal of about 15 trees. This one and the next plan, yeah, as well.
Can't kill trees.
Which, according to Palm Beach County regulations, will require mitigation in the form of planting about 40 new trees in this area and around the community in common areas. And so what we've done is we prepared a spreadsheet showing the specific trees that will need to be removed, as well as the type, caliper, diameter, and we had our consultant look at it from the point of view of the requirements of Palm Beach County. And in the last column, we have the number and types of trees that we have to plant to mitigate this tree removal. Included in this project for the 2 courts is an additional canopy and seating for both the old and new courts, a series of bladed LED light fixtures on poles. Lighting will be designed to meet Palm Beach County's lighting standards to retain and keep the lighting to the court area and not bleed out into abutting property. This is our site plan for the new courts, prepared by Sexton Engineering. And move it down just a little if you can, Robert. That's it. Yep. Here is the parking lot. Here are the new courts in front of the easement, shifted southerly to go into the parking lot by this much. The relocation of the parking island, and the moving of the one handicap spot over to here. The existing courts, you can just spot the corner of in this area. This is the existing canopy, the walkway out to the edge of the parking lot, and that will be extending basically out to the new edge of asphalt. This site was chosen after much discussion, and at a prior meeting, there was a question of why did we not convert one of our tennis courts? And this was raised in the context of possible cost savings, not that it was a better location, but we took that idea and we did prepare some information on that topic. We currently have an outstanding tennis facility with 6 hard-true surfaced tennis courts, including a show court and a tennis center building. The arrangement of 1 show court, 2 courts, and then 3 courts together was laid out with a great deal of thought to provide maximum flexibility for practices, league matches, and social play. Even with some decrease in the interest in tennis, all 6 courts have recently been in use at the same time. Although it is possible to geometrically fit 4 pickleball courts on 1 tennis court, the resulting playing margins from the court lines to the fences between and around the 4 pickleball courts are less than today's standards and would not provide room for adjacent support facilities such as shade canopy, seating, water bubbler, and room for spectators, all of which is an integral part of an acceptable pickleball program. Conversion of tennis courts 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 into pickleball courts would all involve at least 1 adjacent tennis court in order to provide adequate margins and support facilities as aforementioned. This would also adversely affect the remaining tennis courts and subject tennis players to what is perceived to be objectionable pickleball action and expose some of our properties along Fabiano, Adriano, and Neceto to the noise of the game and spectators. After measuring and evaluating all of the tennis courts, converting tennis court number 1 to 4 pickleball courts would result in the least impact to the tennis facility and would not have a direct impact to nearby residences. And this is a sketch plan that we did that shows the tennis center facility, the breezeway going down the center. And this is show court 1 that has 1 tennis court on it currently. You can see that just in the shaded lines here. And then I have superimposed what it would be by putting 4 pickleball courts on, which in order to maintain or in order to get the proper margins around it, we need that outer fence moved slightly. This is the outer fence along the westerly line, moving that out 10 feet, and that would provide the proper margins between these courts for proper pickleball play. It would also be required or desirable to put a 10-foot high noise attenuating blanket along the common line with courts 5 and 6, which is along here and along here, extending out beyond the edge. Court 2 would also be provided with aluminum bleachers, court 2 being on the other side over here, since we are now using these bleachers here for pickleball, and we want to maintain the current classification or name of a show court in order to provide spectators the ability to watch tennis matches. We also have included the cost of getting slightly smaller, but 2 bleachers to go on court 2 over here, which would then enable court 2 to become the tennis show court. Another consideration by the combining of the pickleball and tennis in one area is the impact on available parking of concurrent scheduling of a tennis league match or social events using 4 or 5 tennis courts, as well as a pickleball match using the 4 pickleball courts along with the spectators for both on the more limited 49 space lot and currently in use by the tennis and fitness center. Although the lighting levels present a problem for tennis and probably will be the same for pickleball, given the fact that lighting does exist, no changes are being considered in the conversion of Court 1 to pickleball. In summary, converting Show Court 1 to 4 pickleball courts has significant costs related to the removing of the hard-true and irrigation system, moving fences, resurfacing with asphalt, providing handicap access to these new courts, and new player and spectator seating, but it does have the advantage of affecting only 1 tennis court and providing a proximity to support facilities such as the bathrooms. Other communities have elected to convert hard-true tennis courts to pickleball only when they lack the land to build courts elsewhere. Based on estimates provided by our contractor, the cost of converting Show Court 1 to 4 pickleball courts is only slightly less than the proposal to build new courts on the clubhouse parcel. It will also most likely result in a lowering of our stellar reputation as a tennis community with fewer tennis courts adjacent to concurrent pickleball playing. It would also result in the separation of the pickleball program, divided by Tivoli Lakes Boulevard, and a barrier for continuity of matches, playing, and viewing by spectators in 2 different locations. As such, the board cannot recommend locating pickleball courts at the tennis facility. For pricing, we sent out the project documents to Fast Dry Courts, builders of our current pickleball and bocce courts, as well as Sports Surfaces, Inc., Armor Courts, Papago Construction, and Welsh Construction. Fast Dry has worked with us from the beginning, providing us with the design advice in several rounds of pricing. One other contractor provided us with an incomplete scope of services, but declined to come out and actually visit this project site, and the other 3 contractors were too busy or just declined to bid. Using the 1 complete estimate and prices contained in the partial scope, plus our estimate of HOA costs that were excluded by the contractor, and our responsibility, including a contingency, we estimated that the project cost, and are using that for calculation of a special assessment for our 324 homeowners. Special assessment, which will be our next one. Okay. Read along with me. The estimated cost of the 2 pickleball courts located adjacent to the existing 2 courts is $414,000 or an assessment of $1,280. We are recommending a single payment. On July 15th, the homeowners would receive a coupon for a single payment of this $1,280, for the pickleball special assessment. The homeowner has 6 weeks to pay the coupon, which would be due by August 26th. The next logical question I'm sure you're going to ask is, how does this relate to the special assessment for the front entrance? Because this would be the second special assessment that you'll be facing. Our recommendation is that this assessment for the front entrance, again in a single payment, be completed before the assessment for pickleball with the following dates. On May 15th, the homeowners would receive a coupon for a single payment of $1,650 for the front entrance, and then 6 weeks again to pay that, and that would be due June 26th. The board is very concerned that consideration and vote for this capital expenditure for additional pickleball courts is at the same time as the upcoming special assessment for the front entrance. Both projects are important to the community. We reached out to the Pickleball Committee to confirm that they wanted to move forward with the pickleball project concurrently with the front entrance. They did meet, and they provided us with the following statement. Rob Miller is the chair of our Pickleball Committee, and we've worked closely with him on these projects.
I guess most of you know me, but again, my name is Rob Miller, and I'm the president of the Tivoli Lakes Pickleball Club. Before I read a statement, I have to, representing our community, give kudos to not only our board, but to Don for the unbelievable amount of time and effort and the work that they put in leading up to this particular meeting. I don't think anyone realizes how much effort and work with permits and zoning and architects and tree people is involved in getting us to where we are today. So again, on behalf of the entire community, whether you vote yes or no, thank you to the board and thank you to Don. As requested by the HOA board, the Pickleball Committee met on Saturday, February 10th, to decide whether or not to recommend that the board proceed with initiating a project to add 2 more pickleball courts. We are aware that there will be a large assessment shortly to pay for the front entrance. And we appreciate the board expressing their concern that because of the front entrance assessment, it might negatively impact the chances that the community will vote to support an additional assessment for the new pickleball courts. My presentation to the board several months ago demonstrated why our community needs 2 additional courts. 2 courts are not sufficient. They are not sufficient to handle the current volume of social and league play. Every time we set up an event, we have at least 50 people participating. And think about 50 people trying to play on 2 courts. It just does not work. Many prospective home buyers consider pickleball a very, very important amenity, and we are currently at a competitive disadvantage with many other communities who have more courts per capita than we do. So the committee, after meeting, unanimously feels that the board should still go ahead with the pickleball court expansion project. It has already been delayed, and further delay will only increase the cost of the project. We hope that the board will be able to hold a town hall meeting at its March 12th meeting and proceed with the community vote shortly thereafter. Thank you.
We thank them for the support. We put back the plan for number 13. That's it. Now we'll put it up for questions and statements, and this will become part of the videotape, so please, if you use the microphone and identify yourself.
Okay,
Thank you.
I won't curse. Okay. We've been waiting for a front, my name is Rosemary Tomodaga. We've been waiting to redo our front entrance for a lot longer than pickleball's been popular in Boynton Beach. So, and then as a realtor and a mortgage person in my other life, I don't see 1 million houses up for sale right now in our community. And every house that does go up for sale gets sold pretty quickly. So I understand the committee's desire, but if there are 50 people that want to play and over 450 people that live here, I don't think that percentage is high enough to warrant having these 2 assessments in the same year. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying to not make your pretty pickleball courts, but there's a lot of people that can't even do chair yoga here. You know, so it's not equal. We're not comparing apples to apples. And my point is, let's get the front gate done this year, and let's defer this 6 months to a year. And yes, prices may go up, but they may also come down, because a lot of building situations are falling flat because of interest, because of everything else. I just think that we need more of a conversation about it, and if you're going to rip out half the trees in that parking lot, then let's also have another meeting on where we can put them where they'll be most useful. Because I really don't want to walk in and see tennis courts on the left and pickleball courts on the right. I mean, I would much rather see trees. So, I mean, that's all, that's just an opinion of just not mine, but everybody that's not in this room that said to me, I didn't want to go hear it tonight. So this isn't the end of this conversation. It's not like a done deal. Yeah, you can have your pickleball courts, but we need time. Because I don't know if anybody heard, everybody's insurance rates are going up, taxes are going up. I mean, I'm not talking about a few hundred, I'm talking thousands. So I really think we need to look at who we are as a community. And we are an over 55 community that wants to stay healthy, not go, you know, spend all our retirement money on sporting events and buildings at our community. I'd much rather get on a ship and go on a cruise. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosemary. Yes, Fran?
HOA dues also gone up.
Yeah, I know.
Hi, I'm Fran Eisenberg, and my question is, will our July HOA dues be forgiven since we have these 2 assessments that it's a lot of money you're asking for at one time, and I don't understand why a payment plan cannot be put out there. We did it with the expansion, and I think it's unfair to ask people at this point to literally put out, I'm just doing a rough calculation, 2,000 plus for the HOA dues, and at least another 3,000 for the assessments, and that's in a very short period of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Fran. Yes, Laura. the fact that we don't reply or answer these, it doesn't mean that we don't care, we're not listening, but we like to get the questions in, and then with due deliberation, we can go back and talk about these things. So,
If this vote comes back as negative, is there a plan B? And also, if there's no plan B, could there be a plan that if the pickleball doesn't go through, that at least the existing pickleball courts that we have gets lighting?
at this time, we do not have Plan B. We look at that at such time as the vote came back, if needed.
Another question. Under our rules, 55% of those voting have to approve it. Is that correct?
Voting in person at that meeting or by proxy ahead of time.
This time, if you don't vote, it doesn't count one way or the other. And I think it's very important that the whole community understand this. We know in the past, we've had about less than 2/3 vote on any one issue. The survey you just did, you had about half in round government numbers. So I think it's absolutely critical that you let everybody know that if you don't vote, it doesn't mean you're against it, it doesn't mean you're for it. So I think it's critical that we have people understand that this vote is different from anything we've done in the past.
Well, it's not different than previous. We've had a number of votes in the community on amendments to our governing documents since that was put into effect. And so I think they should be aware that the voting is only the votes that are
No,
counted.
this involves money. Most of the people, the rules we've done to the governing documents have been minor. Yes, they've been important, but this is money. And I think people have to understand that there's a huge difference in this case.
Thank you. More?
Yeah, hi. I'd like to thank the board for what I think was an outstanding presentation. I know Sue Leonard is on vacation, but I think as a realtor, she would have, this is what she had sent me back in January. As you're already, oh, by the way, pickleball has grown 158.6% in the last 3 years. For example, I even know in the villages, not that that's on our coast, they had a few pickleball courts. Now they have 229 pickleball courts. We play league play, and every time we go out, you can see, quite frankly, that every development we go to play league, they have more courts, it's more accommodating. This is what she said. As you already know, pickleball is one of the most recent amenities in our local area, especially among those seeking to purchase a home in a 55-plus community. I can share from my own experience when working with buyers that a high volume of new buyers, and when they're looking for a community, have multiple dedicated hard pickleball courts. Many will decline showing a community that don't meet this basic standard. I will also share that those that seek me out are usually looking for a higher, more experienced level of game with league play and will ask to avoid communities that don't provide multiple play courts. Now, for example, I recently saw an ad, actually about an hour ago. Valencia features pickleball. You don't see them feature in tennis, they feature pickleball. Valencia in Riverland has 37 courts. The village, as I said, 229, top of the world, 29 pickleball courts. Based upon the population or the 324 houses, 4 courts would be appropriate. Maybe there is a financing mechanism to spread it out a little bit, but the reality is if you want new buyers to have interest in this development, in my opinion, you should have more courts available. And as I play often, and I play with the Boomer League, we see that in every development we go to. They have more expansive courts, they're wider, and we really can't compete. And if we have new buyers, they're going to go elsewhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Hi, my name
Yes.
is Marcy Shoemaker, and I just wanted to make more of a statement.
Sure.
I happen to be one of the individuals that my house just went on the market recent, and I can say within 24 hours, my house was sold, and not any of the prospective buyers that came to my house asked about the tennis courts or the pickleballs. They were satisfied with the courts that we had. So that's my opinion.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lynn Trybush. As you can see, I'm a pickleball player. I wanted to make a piggyback remark about having 50 people at an event. Pickleball is an everyday event. There are at least 2 courts being used and people waiting almost every day. Once in a while you get there and there's only 6 people. But usually there's at least 10 or 12 people and someone is always waiting to play. And as far as homes being sold, even though I'm a pickleball player, Tivoli Lakes is a beautiful neighborhood and people are going to move here regardless, but you might attract younger people because they want to play pickleball. They're going to be looking for pickleball courts. You're not getting only people in their 70s moving in, maybe some 55-year-olds would move in, and that would be very nice for our community.
Yes.
Yeah, let me say something. Hi, I'm Steve. I played pickleball for quite a while. A big deal is made about a wait time to play, but that wait time is 3 hours a day in the mornings for most of the day. So pickleball courts are idle. To spend $500,000 to add 2 more courts is a bit much. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, wait till you get to the microphone, please.
Hi, I'm Rita Rosenfeld, and it's so nice to see you all here. Idle? I'm 76, but I feel like I'm 35. I love pickleball. Now don't expect me as where's my man? There you go, Howard knows. And you've seen it happen. I collapse on a pickleball court if it's any time after 11 o'clock. Right. I'm 76 years old. I don't look it, I know. Fran, I'm talking to you. I'm glad you're back to Morocco. Okay, Fran, it would be a dream if one of those courts could be used for beginners. Do you know how many people I'm teaching? But it's hard for them to get on a court. You were a beginner. I taught you. I like to play. I just want to know why we have to pay the assessments. And that's all. Okay.
Okay.
Don can do that. But it's a great sport. It's lots of fun. And people want to play it. And
Oh, please,
I know that.
Rosemary,
I'm not
please let her
going there.
finish.
I'm not going there. Thank you. Don't forget to applaud me.
because they socialize, they want to be part of something in what is supposed to be an active adult community. And if we are an active adult community, we can't go out there and say that we don't have the necessary, I'm going to use the word facilities because he didn't like amenities, but we don't have the amenities. We can't say that we're an active adult community and not have sufficient facilities. As far as when pickleball players are playing, nobody's swimming at night in the pool. You know, you don't go out when it's 100 degrees and play pickleball with the sun beating down on you, and you don't do anything else either. And if some of you do, I would like to know what it is, because I'd love to do something. I can't play pickleball. Tell me what you can do, you know, in the afternoon when it's 100
I know what you can do.
Whatever. That's the way it is. We are...
Rosemary, please.
I didn't interrupt you. In fact, I specifically addressed something you brought up immediately. So what I'm saying is relevant. There's a lot of people here that give everything they have to support pickleball. We're playing against other communities that have more facilities. I won't say better, because I know that what we have is, from what I understand, top of the line. And that's where we should be. But when we're playing other communities, some our size, some even slightly smaller, that have more equipment, or more facilities, or whatever we're calling, you know, the pickleball court. I mean, we have, compared to some other communities, we have nothing as far as pickleball courts. And we have sunshine at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So what do we do? Ban pickleball from Florida because it gets too hot here in the afternoon? Because you don't want to go out and play? You can't play at those hours. So this is the way it's designed. And basically, if all of these communities and the reports and the information that we're receiving are telling us how significant pickleball is in developing properties in Florida, then there must be something to it. And I don't want to be chasing after it later. You know, we have something that's well thought out and well planned. And again, I'm not even a player. But I see there's a need for something here. And there are people that are passionate about it. And let them be passionate about it. Let's fulfill the need, and let's be proud of our community. We don't have to have other communities coming in here and saying, oh, they don't have enough courts, there's no place to sit. We're going to have to wait forever. We can't get all the games we want done. You know what? We need that. This is who we are. Period. This is who we are. And to say that we need anything less is really detrimental to this community.
Would anyone else like to say anything on this topic? Okay, thank you very much. In closing,
I have one more question.
Laurel, please come up to the microphone.
I think I just did some really rough calculations, and I think this is important for everybody to know, that between April and July, we'll be expending over $7,000 for the front entrance at pickleball and house dues.
Yes.
That's it. That was just my remark.
Okay, yeah. If you total up the assessment for the pickleball, for the front entrance, and the quarterly dues that are due on July 1st, yes. Okay, anybody else? Okay, in closing, as with any improvement in a community, whether it is the renovation or an expansion of this clubhouse, renovation of the front entrance, or the project to add 2 pickleball courts, it is hoped that the result will be a positive return on the investment, both from a quality of life perspective, as well as making our community more attractive and competitive with amenities being offered in other communities. We look forward to your support of this project and a yes vote on the proposed expenditure. Thank you very much.